All right, welcome everybody. This is the website's called It's December 28th. I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. And we'll be starting in about a minute. So if you have any topics to add to the agenda, please go ahead and do so. Apart from that, do go ahead and add your name to the attendees list as well. The document that I've been sharing should be available to you from the link I just shared in the meeting minutes if you don't already have it open. If you can't access it, please do speak up and we'll get you access. So while we wait, please go ahead and add your names like I just did. All right, let's start. Anuj, will you take us off?
Yeah, sure. Is my screen visible?
Oh, yep.
Yeah. So, as Lee pointed out in the last meeting, that there was a need for a graphics in the 404 page. So, basically, this was a simple PR to fix some of the things which Lee made a PR on, and I improved upon those changes. Nothing more here. And apart from that, in the same PR, I added redirects for the blogs. It is difficult to show here, I think. Yeah, not this. I don't remember the exact file path, but yeah, the redirects for the blogs have been added. So now, if we land on a URL which existed earlier, it should redirect. Uh, but I don't remember the URL previous. Let me check. Just not this. Mm, not sure if this is working or there is some error. Uh, Let me get back to this. I'm not sure currently.
Sure, what was it supposed to do?
It should redirect to the correct blog, but it is not
Alright,
redirecting. Mm,
alright, that's going to be fixed. Nikhil, can we move on to yours?
Yeah. I will- so, I'll share this screen. Good. So, yeah, there was some recent enhancement on the book's design page. What is this? Okay, okay. Yeah. So, there was the design was a bit different for the books page, but this was the best that could be done at the moment with the existing carousel components that we have. And creating replicating the exact design would be a complex one, considering if we plan about the future as well. Like if we only consider four books and do a design, like write the code, then it might be a bit troubling when we add more books later. So this is the best that could have been done. The reason, yeah. So Jash's point of adding a bit of padding was it was a bit intentional, considering that we should be the user should be able to know that there are more books than just the ones that are currently being displayed. That's the reason the padding was omitted, so that the books may pop out from the edge of the screen. And the thing is, I've tried to add it's from the UX perspective, everything that I could, like a grabbing pointer cursor when the user hovers on another book which is not active, and when it clicks on it, it would be turned to grabbing, and the user can hold and drag as well, but it won't be selected.
Uh, my point was because when I saw it in on my screen, so it was like as I dropped the screenshot, so it was like all the things together and there was no space, so that's why I just pointed it out like with the screenshot if you can just look at it.
This one, right?
Yeah, this is the screen that I saw when I landed.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, if I add padding, I'm not sure if that would work fine or it would cause issue. But when I
So like
was
I
working on
think
the
it's
design,
dependent on resolution or something like some those of these issues. For
yeah.
like
So I'm
screen
sure.
sizes are almost same for all laptops, but some the resolution issues are causing this thing.
Yes, 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 I understand that. Yeah. So the thing is, this is where we have breakpoints for it, but it is breaking at I think around 1200. Yeah. So it would at 1200 it would show only two books, but after 650 it would show only, yeah, two books. So at that time it would be better, and even lesser than that, it won't cause any issue. But for a bit of bigger screen, like 1440, I think adding a bit of padding might be better. I'll check if that would help. I'll give it a try. Like you are suggesting to have some white space in the sides of the books, right? Of the book.
Yes, so like I just meant to have like it should be something of a section, like just padding on left and right if possible.
Right, right, right. Okay, okay, okay. I will give it a try. Yeah, so that was it for the time. I think other than that, I've updated the footer as well. And yeah, there is a bit of white space. I'm not sure why it is coming, but I remember removing that part.
So again, I'll just interrupt because the white space issue is not occurring on my screen, but it's over here. So
I think that's your resolution. If you try to decrease, if you try to zoom out from the Chrome, then white space is gone.
Right, right, right. But that shouldn't come right.
Yeah,
Okay, I think that's happening because there is some CSS applied to some other part of the code, like some margin or something. I will check it. One second. Good. Right. Like as Lee said, he has a 5K screen, so there might be users like that. So for them also showing a white space like this won't be a good thing. So we should. Okay. I think that would be from my side.
uh, so if Tanuj, you can move to the individual workshop page.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen.
Nikhil is present.
Uh, Yeah, I think we would need to replace this icon and this should be moved to the left side. Like it should be something else, not this one. Yes. Just
So
you were saying
again,
something.
yeah. So again, here the same issue. Like it isn't. It's coming good in your screen, but it is not in my screen. So like in my screen, it is having zero padding. Everything is like stretched from left to right entirely. I can drop a screenshot. Right.
Mm, this is the resolution I think you have, but seems fine to me.
I'll just drop a screenshot. Like I am currently on Windows. If I can see, I'll just drop you a screenshot. Just a second. Also, if you
Okay.
could open any other workshop page.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this
I
is
think
fine.
you are saying about this one, right?
Uh,
Like we don't
yes.
have a space right now.
Yeah, like it's the default for my screen. So like it's not I'm doing it like I'm seeing it on inspecting, but it's coming as default on my screen. So I think it should be taken care of. Like there can be different people who have the same screen.
Right, right, right. Like there should be a default padding to this section around 1 RN would do. Okay. So do you have Kishore on the call? Like he was mostly working on the workshop space, so he can take care of that.
Preeti, can you ping him?
Yeah, sure.
The
No,
same
I guess.
effect is happening on in my browser as well. When I bring the resolution, the width of the page down far enough, it will. Yeah, it doesn't maintain a margin, and I think so. Actually, guys, this is like in some respects, this is maybe less like Keyshore specific and more about the site itself, because there's a wrapper here. I'm assuming, right? There's a to use it. There's a layout that's being used. And that wrapper, that layout, it should be defining, and like broadly across all the pages, we should be using a global wrapper that defines, for the most part, a global wrapper. Not every single page, but most of the
Uh,
pages we have
yeah,
the same.
I think there is a we are wrapping every page with a container wrapper, but maybe this page is not having that. I'm not sure. I have to check.
No, no, it's having and it's assigned a margin. I don't know why it's assigned a random margin. It should be set to auto. think in that case, okay, it's popping out. That's the
It,
issue. Like we should be
um,
using the same components in all the pages so that we don't get issues like this. Like we have the
And
blocks page. In the blocks page also we have this setup, but I don't know why it's showing this.
Uh, Neil, can you check if this is also happening in the blocks page?
I've recently checked the blocks page and I think it doesn't have any such margin. Yeah, it doesn't have any such margin and it works fine.
Yeah, I think there specifically it's an issue with that page. Some different component has been used. Maybe I think.
so to news that's actually something to. So the
Yeah,
issue here is probably like, hey, if we're consistently using the container wrapper
yeah.
to, well, it's yeah to as a point of review, make sure that that's being enforced. The use of that, although it is possible for individual components to override those settings. Um, um, and that's okay. Like, but we want to start from the place of everyone's using the same wrapper, ideally. And it doesn't. It might be that we have like sort of a container wrapper and a and a special page wrapper or something like it. But most of the pages would be using the standard components. I think a few of our issues will fade away as we go to enforce that. One of those is like on the blogs page. If um, Tanuj, you were just confirming that the redirects for the names work, and that's great. When you go into an individual blog page and you look at you hover over the author's name, well, we don't have a, like in this case, if Nikhil, if you hover on Rodolfo, like we don't have a standard, or I don't, it doesn't look like we have a standard effect for on hover.
Yeah, we need that, and it is required in many places. So,
And we haven't
so I
defined.
did. Yeah, we don't have a color for that, so I didn't change it.
uh, yeah, I remember us asking about that with Austin, and I remember not having a great suggestion because I mean my best suggestion right now is the what is it is the Keppel, the dark green, and with a bold. Well, the problem is the bold, it has the effect of bumping text and bumping widgets around because it changes size. The problem with leaving it, just changing it to Keppel, is it's still too light on a white background. Okay, we could underline. Um,
uh,
uh, yeah, at least changing it to Keppel would be a step forward. Like, universally changing that to Keppel.
Uh, Capel is the dark green, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you know what? And in the I don't know if it's app.style.js. I went ahead and put in all the uh
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's in
okay.
themes slash app.style.js.
yes.
But nice. So Nikhil, yeah. Anyway, the part of that is with the margin, the hyperlinks, and there's a no doubt there's a ton of little things. It might be good that, well, so if we look at the date, it would be ideal that like this next time that we're having a call that we would be going over all the tiny little things and fixing them to release in concept. Like end of this week we would be hopefully going live. If and we're still on track to, if for some reason either the Meshery page wasn't ready or the homepage wasn't ready, then those would be blocked, or we probably wouldn't go live. Some of the smaller bugs, or we might overlook and go live, but be following them up with very quick releases.
Uh, so I had a suggestion, like, yeah, if you could open the Meshery page. So like if there is a background and then you hover over the mega menu, it looks very, like, due to the contrast, it looks very good.
It does not look good. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Uh,
No,
so you mean we'd have white over white?
um I'm not sure if I heard everything that was said, but the blue background, I don't think is the intention. Rather, the intention is um, that the design, that the layout of that splash and that type of a gradient was pretty cool, and that we should use it, and that you've done a good job incorporating it, but that the blue wasn't what we intended to
No,
use.
no. So I'm not talking about these colors. So I'm just talking like as if you have seen we have taken the mega menu inspiration from the Strapy website. So they do also have some background color to highlight the, like, when you hover over, like when you get the mega menu. So it looks better if it is on a colorful background. So what I meant was, if you can have like some color in the first section of the landing page, of the home page and the Meshery page, if possible.
Oh,
Like not exactly the same gradients and that's currently visible. Like if you can see the strap, if you can just Nikhil, if you can just open the website, the Strappy website. So yeah, now, yeah, so this is the thing I'm talking about. Like if there is some background and if over there you have get a white thing, and if you get a white over white, this one looks more better. So here,
so
if you also see, there's some slight difference in the background color as compared to the mega menus white.
oh, sure. Yeah, and actually having a slight background color to the whole site. Yeah, this is huh. I don't know, it's interesting. Like when we're on the blogs page or the workshop page where we're looking at the margins, like that slight background color, we could, yeah, this would be a good thing to try out to put in, to ask Austin to put, or Neil, since you're on, to put into the one of the designs and see what it looks like. Um, the white, the intention around the white is to have a minimal design that, like, when you bring color to something, it really stands out because there isn't color anywhere else. And um, but having it straight up white, um, it can be kind of a lot. Like it can be a pretty bright page on people's faces. It can be um, maybe more high contrast than you're looking for. Um, a lot of pages use straight white, so it's worthwhile experimenting with a light something, like the um, a sort of a hue of the dark jungle, except very very light, something like that,
Yeah, like
or
it's just a suggestion, if it can be also incorporated after the first release as well. So it's not necessary, but just I was just wanted to know, make it like bring it before your eyes.
yeah. There's some, I don't know that I have sites off the top of my head that do this as examples, but there's one thing that we're doing well is when you start to scroll down the page, we will update the nav bar. We make the icon, the logo, a little bit smaller, which I'm not sure that it actually needs to be, but we do, and we give a. Um, is there a slight transparency to the nav bar or no? No, I guess not. But my point of saying that is that we could like actually we could change the background of that to something dark, and when you're halfway down the page, or like there's definitely things worth experimenting with here about. So after we're live, things to experiment with, the nav bar stuff that I just mentioned, that's an after live thing. It might be that before going live, we could experiment with a slightly off white background. Um, and Austin, I'm glad that you joined, because we're just talking about a potential use of a potential slightly off white background, as opposed to the white, and how that can help with contrast of something like the mega menu. And so it's something to think about. So Neil, if since Austin doesn't have all the right context, can you chat with Austin, and can you guys experiment with a little bit of that, a slightly off-white background?
Yeah, we can do that.
Cool, thank you. Cool. All right, what's next?
Yeah, related to the mesh page itself, we need a design for that if you want to go live before this year.
Yeah, do we have we? Yeah, Austin did a design, and I've been negligent on providing feedback. I've been stuffing my face with cookies and everything else instead. But has everyone? I haven't seen the Meshery page design. Did Nikhil? Do you want to bring that up? Do you guys want to take a look? Nice. Okay, I take it back. I guess I did technically see it very briefly. Nice. So the one of the things that this is missing is that potential splash in the background that we were thinking about. The That's a nice design. One thing about having that splash background is for the header, or for right at the top of the Meshery page, is that you would almost expect something like that of the home page, not as much of an individual, like that's giving a lot of highlight to an individual project. And Meshery is a very special project, but mm, it would be easier. It would make a little more sense if other project pages also had that same splashed background, so that it wasn't just an individual page. But Austin, what was the thinking about not including that background at the top?
Yeah, this splash background at the top. I tried using it, but it just wasn't working. That's why I then moved it to the bottom instead.
Okay. Okay. All right. We're thinking about having 2 pages for Meshery, hence the design, the two like draft designs off to the right. And
All right.
we're
Uh,
considering.
I'll work. I'll work on. I'll work on a second design.
Okay. Yeah, when you do, we're considering use of the 2 large animations, or actually 3 large animations, which I think you've incorporated in. Yeah, you have incorporated into here. That's great. Like how it works looks pretty great. We've got the individual service mesh icons on the left hand side. That makes sense. I, um, I think it can make sense to have them all filtered to the same color, like you have that could be good. It although I don't know that I would recommend the like we end up hmm, we're pretty much only using green as a highlight color, or just as a color rather. I mean, that's not entirely true. We're just using that green a lot, and I wonder if something else wouldn't work better. Um, Nikhil, if you scroll down to that second section, so this is the use cases, and this is okay. Nice. So features. Here is where we would have the feature switcher. Yeah, that's right. I actually did see this design. I think I gave feedback asking for a feature switcher here, which would work well. And then, yep, there's a call to action at the bottom. That's nice. Um, yeah, we are. One thing that concerns me is that we're using, and I know we're probably just trying this out, but we've got curved, curvy design elements here. That's nice. But then we've got rectangular or more sharp design elements in the background above. Does that does that work? Maybe it does. So Austin, any thoughts there about the contrast of sharp edges with the curved elements?
Okay, no. I just wanted to play with the, we suggested we use more design
Yeah.
elements, so that was why I
Oh,
just
cool.
put that in there to like, give a like a difference from what we've been seeing before.
This is great. Yeah, this is a really pretty page. It's good. Nikhil, if you scroll to the top, okay. So we've got. I think we should probably remove. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know if we should remove the Meshry logo or fit it in somewhere else. But it feels too small, or it feels like we shouldn't have it there. I guess the Meshry logo at the very top. But
Something around here, like mesh is a mesh management plane above this line or beside this line.
yeah, could be. Um, it's funny.
You also need to get new screenshots, I guess, if we intend to keep them.
Yeah, and that could be well, and I guess this can't be the feature switcher, but for this just to be a static screenshot um, is a little bit painful. Ideally, like if we go to the other two designs, both of them had much more engaging, yeah, the two animations that were engaging people from the start. Um, and so maybe instead of the screenshot, and I know Austin only has so much to work with because we don't have a lot of these assets laying around, but so if we tried to use the animated terminal, that totally changes the page layout because that would be something that people would scroll over. Guess
Right, right. So, do we have the animated terminal ready? I think we can implement that.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
we
I think
have
it's
that.
ready. It's basically ready. Like it just needs um, the actual content, which is easy enough to put in.
Yeah, because once I went through the code and I think that's all. Most of them are static text, so replacing that won't be hard.
Right. So I think that they're ready. They're mostly been waiting on me to go over and fill in some of that static text. But if the animated terminal is brought into the design that we have now, um, it's going to need a lot of space to be able to scroll over it. So I guess I don't know. Austin, like there's the design that we have. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of good things that are working for it. You've got one of the animations built in. That's good. It would be nice if we're able to start with an animation because that's very engaging for people. Or if we don't start with it, it's not the end of the world. It's well, but we might want something other than, I don't know. I guess if we get a good enough screenshot, maybe that would work. I just don't know. It's not that taking a screenshot is that difficult, or it takes a little while to get the right one, etc. That's fine, but I don't know if we have the most compelling like screens in Meshery to show. I'm not sure. We could take a screenshot of a souped up mesh map. That's the most compelling thing at the moment, although it doesn't look great.
Oh, one thing, like we intend to keep the animated terminal on the top, and also this machinery works in the same page.
No, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. Is like it will need the page. The page itself. This is a good page. Although as we try to have take these thoughts and put them into two different pages with two large animations, the layout, the flow needs to change.
Right, right. And also, how will both the pages be linked? Like the URL, and how will the user be directed to the other page?
So the one on the right hand side, how it works is about multiple meshes and all of your concerns um, uh, uh, around multiple meshes and big statistic numbers and things that we have make sense on the right hand side. On the left hand side, it's probably more like installing Meshery and then using its features. So the sort of install and then feature switcher, they line up pretty well. And so the linkage being that if you want to dive more into what the features are, you'll end up being linked over to or you want to try it and run it, like run Meshery, like it will probably take you to the install animated terminal. So the main page probably ends up being this how it works and like
Like this one would be having the terminal and the install commands, right? The
right,
animated terminal.
right.
So slash machinery should direct user to this page, and there can be a call out at the end, like stating if you want to know how machinery works, or we can add a sublink for this page, like machinery slash how machinery works, and we can show this page.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think you said it better than I did, and that's right because the main page being the one on the left. Because what we were saying before is still true: is that the main story of Meshery isn't the fact that it touches so many service meshes. That's awesome. That's just not the main selling point. Um, at some point, we're going to want to really sell Mesh Map, or I mean, Mesh Map is one of the cooler things that people are going to want to interface with, and it's um, and yeah, we don't, but that's not ready at the moment. So,
Alright. So
oh,
considering we need some work for the machinery page.
right.
Okay, yeah, yes, you were saying something. You
So
can go
yeah,
ahead.
I guess in the meantime, like Tanuj, the how it works, you're able to style it a little bit more like what Austin has here with the fonts
Yeah,
and the indentation,
yeah.
and moving the nice. And then,
Is
uh,
it okay if it is inverted?
yeah, I think so. Yeah, when you look at if the animation is on the left hand side, I think
Yeah,
it's okay that it's inverted because when you look at the other two drafts, it should be on the left hand side, and that was intentional because how it works is on the left hand side and the animated terminal is on the right hand side. So
yeah.
these
Okay.
drafts were written because of that, because of the fact that they're already implemented. on one side or the next. So Austin, like, I think the feedback is this is a great design. Let's try to break it into 2 pages if we can and see how that, if that'll work. The splash in the background, the question becomes that Josh is working with now. Um, if you go back to that for a second, Nikhil, the current Meshery page, the currently implemented Meshery page. Okay, so where can we use this, or can we? Can this be the on you now? Granted, it won't be blue, but Austin, I think you were starting to play around with the colorized gradients. I know you had a design in there somewhere that where you were trying it out. And I guess my question is this background, can this be the homepage? And it won't be talking about Meshery, but rather if we just lay this into the existing homepage. Yeah, if you go there, if you go to home.
Um, this uh, doesn't doesn't look too good.
Okay, can you say more?
No, yeah, it doesn't look too good, and no, I really don't know how to put it. The contrast alone with the text,
Right.
the color
Okay.
contrast one first of all. Don't we'll come up with something, sir. We'll come up with something.
Yeah. When you do, like, yeah, I mean, like, Nikhil, if you visit, and granted, our site is not strappy.io and it's not stripe.com, but if you visit stripe.com for a moment, Nikhil, like, what works for them, may not necessarily work for us. So I get that. And if we're only doing a big splashy background on one page, maybe that doesn't work. Like, I think here they're doing that and it's animated. They've got a somewhat similar large mega menu. It's got a number of notable differences from Strappy, but just reflecting on whether or not it works for them here. So they've got that one. If you go to products, and then I think there's one called terminal. Yeah, the second one. That splash that we have was taking. Oh, okay, I guess not. Scroll down a little bit. Yeah. So the Get Nighthawk project is trying to use something like what's here. Instead of the terminal, if you go to the other product, the first product. All right, maybe they changed it already. Keep going to other products.
I think they have changed it.
There's two more
Like,
on the right hand side. There's like, and Austin was saying this before, that they will pretty frequently come around and change up their whole site. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay, so that's what the Get Nighthawk one is using. And if you go to all the way to radar, okay. But anyway, I was trying to reflect on how it works for them. So Austin, maybe it's, see the current page that we're on. They going back one, Nikhil. So they have like our background is white. So if that much of instead of it being gray or whatever it is, that if that's all white, but then just as the second section, if you will, that might be something to look at, instead of having such a big splash design laying behind the mega menu. yeah. Anyway, stuff to play with, but but we'll need to iterate quickly. So okay, so what else can we do? We have to concretely look at. Is Navendu still on? No. Okay. I think we missed out on getting something over. Is he working on anything? I don't know that he is. Shriti, can you?
No, last call he mentioned about going through the Mesh project, as far as I remember.
All right. Yeah, Shriti, will you message with him and ask him which of the two he's wanting to work on, and
Sure.
then work. Thank you, and work with him if you would on getting him something to do.
Mhm.
Okay.
Also, we need a design for the homepage. I'm not sure if there's one.
All right. Nicholas, did you open the link Tanit sent for the blog redirect in the chat?
Yeah, sure.
Did you scroll down? Why is
Just
Ishita's picture here?
I just saw this. I think what is happening is that currently I think that how MDX works is um, all the names for the images we import should be different. That's my theory. And the import name I think is same for those two images. So it is getting same. I will try to change the import name and see if that makes a difference.
Mhm.
Okay. So Nikhil, back. So Shriti, a good thing to capture into defect.
Yeah.
Dude, that's yeah. You're right. Nikhil, going back to the homepage. Austin, do we have a design for the homepage?
Yeah, the current design, I don't think it has been approved, but I've not made a new one yet.
Okay, so so we know we don't have a design for the homepage.
Yeah, so I will get a new, we'll make a new one.
Okay. Yeah, we do some of those new elements that you have, the green backgrounds. It doesn't have to be green, but those are awesome. It'd be good to see that somewhere here, especially like just like we were looking at that last product on stripe.com where yeah that where like it's not the splashed, it's not the background that Josh has where it's right behind the menu, but maybe that type of a thing just below is engaging. You think about it. Okay, so as we come to the top of the hour, what have we not spoken of? So clearly it's the homepage and the two Meshry pages are the highest
And
you know, the,
also mobile mega menu.
yeah. Nikhil, yeah, as you show that, it might be done. Actually, so it's or this will pass muster. If you keep going down, Nikhil, it's actually the floating mega menu is there. It's just the width. It's like full width, so you can't really tell that it's floating. Or I mean, I'm sorry, floating. Yeah, you can't tell that it's the actual. There is a small, like on the left hand side, there's a small margin where you can. It's just there's no shadow, so you can't really tell that you're actually looking at the thing. Yeah, you see on the left hand side where like yeah yeah. So a shadow would help offset it. Um, I'm not sure how much else what else there is to do.
Also, one thing, I think are we planning to keep this green shadow for the Mega Menu?
I think so. something.
Okay.
Yeah. It could change slightly in terms of it's fairly bright. I mean, maybe it needs to be changed, but yeah, it's nicer than just a gray shadow, something that offsets it. We're not using it anywhere else other than the mega menu, which is on purpose. Maybe it needs to be slightly darker, brought in a little bit so it doesn't have as big of a blur. I don't know. The left hand side, the gray that we're using is almost too subtle. Yeah, almost. Anyway, not good feedback, right? That needs to be quantified in the design. But yep, so homepage, mastery page, the mobile mega menu. Tanuj, any remarks there on what's missing today? Like, should it open up collapsed so that it's not all sub menu items shown?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it should be collapsed and the sub menu should be shown on when clicked.
Makes sense.
I think that was decided, but Vinith said that he would be working on it a bit later.
Shridi, can you open up a bug on that?
Sure.
Because I don't think that we. Okay, good. Well, what else on the mega menu? I think that it needs to, you can't tell that it's floating there. So is it going to be bad if we put a shadow on the left and right hand side of it? Austin, any comment on that? Putting shadow on either side?
The shadow on the mega menu. I don't know.
Yeah, when it's in mobile view. When the mega menu is in mobile view, yeah.
Oh, all right. We'll have to do it in the design first because I think I see something like green on it.
Yeah, there is some light green there, and that's desirable. When the menu is in the mobile view, it has the same animation that it currently has. Well, not it still animates and pops up, um, and it's still floating. It's not the full width of the screen, but the user can't really tell that because there's no shadow on the left or right hand side of it. So it's pretty much white on white.
How about put a black overlay on the bottom? Like when it's active, the whole screen looks a bit dark.
I see. Just in the mobile view?
For the mobile view, the mega menu can't work on the mobile view.
Okay. I think we're okay. So it currently is a mega menu in the mobile view. And so
Because of that, I created one in the design and I left a comment on it tagging you I think some days back
yeah. So
for the
those
mobile
yep.
view menu itself.
Yep. Okay. Very good. So we're gonna Austin. We're gonna set aside those designs. We're not gonna use those. Rather, let's go with the mega menu for now. That does show in mobile view. Let's put a light green shadow on both the left and right hand sides so that people can see it, and collapse it by default, Tanuj, like you'd said, and then let's call it done for the first release. If after the release, which ideally we're shooting for on this Friday, hopefully, um, after that, if we need to redesign the mobile view, then let's revisit.
I think the menu in the strap and in the Stripe website is very nice for the mobile view.
Yeah, I'm trying to look now. Yeah. Yep, that's about right. Yeah. It is pretty nice. I think one thing that makes their mobile menu a little bit nicer is the icons.
Yeah,
Hmm. Okay, that's something for us to look at after release. Like, should we have icons in the menu? We have icons for a lot of the things that we're showing people. All the projects have their own icons. Mm. So Austin, that's certainly something to experiment with on them in the mobile view, using the mega menu with icons. I'll take a note of that so we don't forget.
Uh,
But
yeah. So while we are discussing about other projects like Meshri project, are we keeping the other projects page as it is?
no, ideally not. So Neil, can you step in here on one of these? Because ideally none of these are necessarily, because each of these basically look like a blog post today, or, but they're not. There's a lot more effort given to each of these. And so Neil, I would treat them as they're a product. Oops, did we lose him? We lost both Austin and Neil.
Uh, like keeping some part of the projects consistent. If we take reference from stripe.com, like they have for all of the products, they have a common design. Like a group of products, they have a common design, and then some other group of products, they have a common design. Just the colors differ a bit.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, it's nice, right? They all tie into each other because they all have a similar splash or similar.
Yeah. And we are keeping slash machinery or slash project slash machinery.
We're keeping slash meshery, but but redirect to slash. Well, that's the thing is like, is it slash projects?
currently it's slash project slash mastery and slash mastery redirects to that.
Okay.
Yeah. And the landscape too, right?
Yeah,
No, means I was asking like we would keep them as it is or
I
change it
think
to.
that's also redirecting to project slash landscape.
I agree, but the thing is, on like if we are redacting them, then for the menu also we should list the same.
Y- yeah,
Oh, sure.
Just one thing, uh, Lee, previously there was service mesh tools and service mesh strength, so I added a hyperlinks for them and
Nice.
changed the text to service mesh feature comparison and service mesh strength comparison. So is that fine or the text or something needs to be changed? Like on the
I
feature comparison, it would go to the matrix, and
Yeah.
on the strength comparison, it would go to this.
How do those words, when you go into a mobile view, do we still have enough space?
Like what? I didn't get that.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like we do. Yeah, those are good words. Those are really important words because that those generate a lot of SEO.
That was the main reason for choosing those words.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, people are probably not going to be searching for timeline, so having a feature comparison or yeah, they might search for tools. They definitely are going to search for comparing like a lot. That's good.
Right.
And so
Cool.
really briefly, Neil, since you're back on, thanks for jumping back on.
Yeah.
Shriti, did you ping Kishore, by the way? And he's not available?
Oh, yep, I did. He hasn't replied.
Oh, okay. Um, so, the projects that we have, the one that we're curating a lot is Meshery, and that's good. So we have some designs there. But for the Surface Mesh Performance, Surface Mesh Interface, Image Hub, these they mostly look like blogs today, and they need to be uplifted, uh, and they should ideally have a common theme across them in terms of how they look. So
Like how you have a nursery page.
say it one more time.
You want them like common theme like how you have on the Meshery page.
Yeah, or yeah, yep. It, and actually, when we were looking at Stripe.com, that's a great example of like if you go to any of their product pages, it you know there's a lot of similarities between each of the pages.
Yeah.
Just in terms of so cool.
Yeah, like this design is same for all of them, but only the
Yeah,
color
that's
changes.
basic. Yeah.
That's the thing.
In color. So every project has their own color statement, and based on that, they have.
Yeah, there's a brand guide for that includes the color scheme for each of the projects. They
Oh,
share a lot of the same color scheme on purpose,
yeah.
but
Is the one on Figma, right?
um, the
Oh,
brand guide, yeah,
okay.
cool. Austin,
So
did you already put together a design for the service mesh performance page?
No design yet for service mesh
Oh,
performance
okay.
page.
Okay, good deal. While you were busy on the homepage, the Meshery page, um, and wherever else, uh, Neil, if you, yeah, if you can try give an attempt to pulling together a couple
the
of,
service the service mesh performance.
yeah, if you, well, yeah, the service mesh performance, and then a few a few similarly themed pages for Image Hub, distributed performance.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Did anyone work on the calendar by chance?
I think Vinit was going to work on it, but
All right.
he hasn't made a PR yet.
Even the newcomers page, I don't think that's updated.
Right. So Kishore on the newcomers and Vineeth on the. Um,
Uh, Newcomers was, I think, Tommy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I pinged her today morning, like my time today morning, but didn't get a reply. Don't know what is happening. Also, I just noticed like we don't have a call out for the newcomers page anyway.
under, yeah, somewhere.
Yeah.
And then thinking was that we will have a design for the community page then it will be linked there, I think. But we don't have a design for the
Yeah.
community page yet.
Actually, actually, one did come out for the community page now. Um, and so I don't know if it has a link to the newcomers or not, but so yeah, that's right. It's the community page where we were trying out the gradient in the background. That's pretty cool. I don't. We should not use that black splash like that and the circles. Like I don't think that'll work. But that circle with the gradient that'll work. That card is old. We need to delete those old cards. I'm leaving them in the archives, Austin, as good reference to the extent that they help. But if they start popping up in new places, we might just delete them because now there is a carousel there, which is great. If you notice, so that
Yeah.
slider that you've been using, Nikhil, might be another place for it. Now, is there a link to the newcomers in here? Yeah, an onboarding program and new. So there, where it says join the community, that might be welcome new. Instead of join the community, the yellow button under Meshmate program, it would be probably newcomers, right?
Right, right. Cool. Also, are the design for the about page and company ready? Like, I think that was almost ready, but something was bit left. So, like, if it's ready, then we can implement that part.
Yeah, close. That's ready. The slash company slash contact.
This one, right?
Yeah, and the expanded contact. I think those are probably ready. The expanded contact is not to be a different page, but the same page.
On clicking this one.
Yeah. So we need to. Someone should probably edit the page and include the careers support and partnership
Right,
so
right.
that you understand you're on the same page.
I Means I'm not sure, but I think Shiva signaled to work on it in the
Yeah.
last meeting.
He Shivai's a great guy. Never ever does what he says he's gonna do. He's a great guy. Yeah, I love him. We spent 2 hours catching up last week. Um, but never ever has he ever done what he says he's going to do ever on the so and he's a great anyway, he's not going to do it, so certainly not by this Friday. um,
Okay, good. I'll see if I can signal him and get it.
Thank you.
Also, like, I know, like, initially when the site was being worked upon, we were experimenting the things. But if we look at the code right now, a lot of thing is being reused, but has been recoded again and again, and they are different in a lot of places. So I think a lot of cleanup is needed for a lot of components. So if someone can look into that part as well. Like, we also need to convert pixels to REM. Like, whenever if you are creating a new PR, I would suggest to implement that thing so that it's less overhead at a later point of time. Like, just for the example of the workshops page, I think this is not using the same component and being created again. Yeah, it should be because it's a different thing, but there should be a component or something so that it can be used.
A different component for what did you say to do what?
Like for the workshops page, like if we have this page, for considering this page, if it would have been using the same page or component from the block single page code, then
Right,
it would have caused that issue.
right.
But it was coded again and all the issues are coming.
Yeah, to reuse the wrappers, to reuse the same components. Yeah, there's Okay, well,
Also, we should be using some other icon, right? Or this one only.
I think, yeah, yeah, something else might make. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I
I
don't
think
know.
it's not calling me to. It's not telling me that it will open a new page.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, the read more. Right, yeah. As a matter of fact, like the read more, read less. That's in some respects what I would expect. The maximize. I think that's intended to be something of a maximize button, kind of, but it's not like that.
Uh,
The icon is
so what like what when we discussed about this, we agreed on that we'll be having less info on the page, on the expanded card, and more on the individual page, like both won't be serving the same purpose.
Mm,
So
No,
that we can do, but we can like
no,
if we try to do it, then this the issue with the like we can then replace it with the read more or the visit to web like page or something like that. But we can do it after, like if it's not necessary, because it will require the things to be summarized.
no. I think the thinking was that all the information would be present here, and that page will only be available for SEO purpose and for sharing a link.
um, okay, then I think I remember it incorrectly.
Also, like few of the cards have this Slack icon beside it, but few of them don't. Like,
yeah,
yeah, this one have this Slack icon. I don't know why,
yeah. That might
and
be.
others don't have.
I'll take that one. It's probably that those are just not listed in the MDXs, and there's no reason for that not to be. So
Yeah, this one doesn't.
well, good. Well, maybe we should wrap today. A ton of things to do. I'm gonna work the rest of the day probably on the site. Um, a ton of things to do. It Friday is possible. Uh, the homepage and the mastery pages have to be in the right place for us to be able. They're part of MVP, or the minimum viable product for releasing the site. Some of the other pages could be in a lesser state, and that would still be okay. To Nikhil and to Nuj's point on the call, we don't have consistency. We don't have consistency broadly, so there's some broad sweeping cleanup to be done and reuse to be enforced. Things like the buttons here, they're both faded. I think, and in the design, Austin, one thing to clarify is in the components in Figma, we've got. I think I don't know the buttons in an inactive state, they look faded and kind of ugly. They look dull. Uh, and I don't know that that's the design that we have. I think the design we have now is that for them to be in full color and vivid, but on for active state, they lift off the page, I think is the thing.
Yeah, so that's what I did in my PR before a month or something, and then we decided to, like it was in the spec doc that we'll be deciding on what to have with Augustine, but I don't think we came on a decision.
And for the active states, they have more of like a, a like they look more raised with a drop shadow on
Okay.
the inactive states. These don't resemble what we have in design. These look a bit more different, a bit different from what we have in design. On the active state, the shadows, they now have like a little shadow of like 60 blur, 30 white, and then with it looks raised.
Yep.
I
Can you
mean,
guys see the new screen that's being shared? This is the assets components page, or in here. These are where the mega menu and the footer, and but there's a couple of buttons that have been defined. So to Austin's point, like the inactive state does have vivid coloring. The active state has slightly the buttons are raised, and then the colors are slightly lighter, I believe. They are.
the colors are the same. It's just the shadow. The shadow gives like a feedback. The shadow gives a bit of feedback, so the user knows, okay, it's currently active.
And I think in this particular, I don't know that the shadow is. Austin, can you take a double look at this? I, I suspect the shadow isn't quite as dark as we were looking for it to be, or it's a little more blurred than we.
Um,
If you would, did Neil do these two? Was that you?
Oh, I did them.
Okay.
It's shadow is something like 60 by 30 with the opacity very low, around like 8. So it doesn't look too dark, but it has a soft shadow, but it's still raised at the same time. Or we could just use a different color with it, if if that's good.
Okay.
Hello.
Yep. Hey,
Good afternoon.
hey, Franklin.
Yeah, it's me. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Hey, thanks for jumping on. Franklin, have you been on this call before?
No, this is actually my first time.
Oh, nice. Okay. Nice. Yeah, you're jumping in right into the thick of it. We, there's a new site that we're trying to finish up, and so uh, everybody's a little bit anxious about um, trying to make sure that everything's working before we hopefully publish at the end of the week. And
Okay.
so we've been so focused on designs and their implementation that we've not been doing a good job of making sure that of welcoming in Franklin, actually. So nice of you to jump in. This is good to have you. We end up using Figma to do some design, and the site there's like 5 or 6 different sites that we work on. This particular one is the main site, and so we'll have to tell you a bit more about it um, in Slack. There's a few different areas there's some low hanging fruit, so to speak, or there's um, that for you to potentially pick up and try out. Um, are you looking more at implementation, or are you more interested in design?
Um, I could actually do the two, actually. But I would love to implement the design, like using
Nice.
front end code.
Nice. Oh, very good. Well, you're able to meet a number of the right individuals in the community right now. So Tanuj and Nikhil and Austin and Josh, Shridi, they're all on. And so no doubt we'll get you pointed in the right direction. Like it's very good that you're on as well, so you can hear
Yeah, it
some of what's
is.
going on.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, very good. Very good. Good, good, good. Okay, we're just about to wrap up the call actually. Yeah, Austin, something a little more this it's almost it's too subtle. Like you can barely tell that that there's a shadow. Um okay. Anything else that we want to I know we need to like probably catch up a bit in Slack over the next couple of days. to iterate through some things. It might be that we would do one more Saturday call, like we've done in the past, to then overcome outstanding issues and release. Part of releasing, by the way, is changing up how we're publishing, and which branch is public. So right now, I don't know that we've actually tried any builds running on GitHub pages. So hopefully we wouldn't have any issues there. The sitemap, the intention is to be able to use this to help us identify, one, the structure of the site, but then two, the status of where we are. And so feel free to update this, guys, as we go. So something like the mesh masters is not needed at the moment. But whoa. But other than that, let's jump off the call, because it's been. Does anyone have anything else that they need to talk about?
I just want to ask some questions.
Yeah.
Can I get the designs, like those designs you just showed on your screen? Is there any public place where it's being stored that we can access it?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, one of these guys is about to send it to you in Slack right now.
Okay, 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 no problem. And I also want to know about, well, you could send all the details about the site so I can start getting familiar with it.
Tanuj, can you do that? Can you send that info to Franklin? He's developer Aspire.
Can you repeat that? What you need? What?
Just
Oh,
the contributor guide for Layer 5 NG.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Very good. Okay. Thanks, everybody, for being on. Talk to you guys very soon. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Okay.
See you again. Bye.
Okay. Bye, guys. Bye. All.
Bye bye.